Thank you all. Good afternoon. My name is Karl Connolley. I'm Chief Technologist for the Major Accounts, which is the enterprise group within Ingram Micro. And I just wanted to thank CenturyLink for the opportunity to speak today. We were awarded with the Catalyst Award last night, so we're delighted with that. What I want to do today is spend about 15 minutes going through Ingram's position, our strategy around cloud, and to also dispel the impression of Ingram as just a distribution company. I started with Ingram about 5 months ago. I spent about 16 years at EMC, and the impression I had on the outside was that Ingram was just a traditional distribution company, aka what you know in the industry as a box pusher. But let me assure you, we are certainly not that. We are definitely a cloud-centric company. So let's get started, and I want to share some basic metrics with you just to give you a sense of the breadth and size of Ingram as a company. Last year we did about $47 billion in revenue, which is phenomenal, right? And that's a metric that is greater than some countries' GDP. We have 200,000 customers worldwide and about 2,000 vendors in the product line. We shipped about 500 million units last year, so clearly scale is not an issue for Ingram. I think what's interesting, and a lot of partners don't realize this, is that Ingram actually handles about 1/3 of all the mobile devices in the US. So that means we actually provision and drop software on those devices, as well as just simple procurement. And another interesting fact that will hopefully set the stage and make you think differently about Ingram is the fact that Ingram's marketplace hosts and manages the digital commerce platform for 1/3 of all the major telcos in the world. So this slide just indicates the location of where we do business. Now, truly global is what we are. And you can see here in North America is where the biggest market is for us, right? So we did about 19 billion there last year, followed closely by Europe, and then second to that APJ. But you can see we have a growing and strategic presence in Latin America as well. So it's true that Ingram is a distributor, right? We're the largest distribution company in the US. Our core business is around technology solutions, and that is we have numerous technology groups within the business that are solely focused on delivering best-in-class technologies to our partners, enabling our partners and ensuring that they can align also to those vendors' strategic position. But importantly, if you go beyond the core at Ingram, we have cloud services, right? And that's where our cloud marketplace that I'll talk about comes into play, which is a very important and strategic part of the business. A third leg to the stool is really around commerce and lifecycle management. And that's just the wing of the business that handles ITAD, which is a growing area for us. So I wanted to share with you some of the strategic acquisitions that Ingram has made over the years. So this slide seeks to indicate the different buckets of technology solutions, if you will, that Ingram has invested in. So that's $2 billion that we've invested since 2012, right? So the first area that we really double down on is technology solutions. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of each and every acquisition, but there are certain acquisitions here that are standouts. For example, we have ProMark. ProMark is a wing within inside Ingram. That's what we call our incubation lab. So in essence, what the team at ProMark does, they go out and they look at emerging technologies, they go to shows like this, and they see up and coming trends, and they try to sign those vendors into our line card. If you think back to 2009 when Nutanix launched, they basically radicalized the data center with a hyper-converged platform. Well, we were very early to identify that as a game changer, and ProMark still deals with Nutanix today. Last week, for example, my colleague Aviram, he's not here right now, but he has signed a Israeli company to the line card, a company called MinerEye. MinerEye is a cybersecurity company that basically quantifies and qualifies data in your environment and then protects it through security and exposes that data to you. Because a lot of our customers don't actually know what they have in their ecosystem, in their environment. And therefore, this software enables you to market and classify it, and then determine whether or not it's suitable for movement to the cloud, right? So very important acquisition for us. Another one I'll just point out, just by way of showing the breadth and the capabilities of Ingram, is the Phoenix Group. I'm sure when you go on an airplane and you purchase a glass of wine or a beer after the show, you're interacting with someone that's holding a handheld device, right? Same is true when you go to a restaurant. Increasingly, we're paying for things with our mobile. Well, the Phoenix Group basically provisions, refurbs, and distributes those kind of devices. So you can see in the portfolio, we have a broad range of capabilities. In the life cycle services, this is a growing area for us. It's all around ITAD. It's basically managing devices from cradle to grave. Cloud technologies, I'm not going to spend too much time on this slide because that's basically the crux of the next slide. But in essence, you can see we've been on this acquisition binge for quite some time and buying best-in-class technologies. And the commerce services here is basically our ability to track and create logistics programs to help our partners deal with e-commerce and the like. Now, I had this conversation with our partner this morning, and it struck me as odd that many of our partners don't actually know the breadth and width of the capabilities within Ingram. So that's something we're certainly hoping to change. And that is to say, we have an amazing service portfolio, right? So in addition to delivering technologies, we also enable partners through services. So if you look from supply chain on down to technical training, financial and credit is a big growth opportunity for us as well. We realize, as do you obviously, most of our partners are struggling with the pivot in moving from point product sales into cloud, right? That means that they're no longer getting those big checks when they drop an array or something on site, but now they're trying to make the pivot to monthly recurring revenues. And so Ingram has a financial wing that will help our partners with using our own balance sheet to finance that operation. So it really helps out a lot of our partners. Another area is cloud. Obviously, that's a huge division for us. And we have a very regimented 9-step program to help partners get enabled into building a successful cloud practice. So the 9 steps will bring you through everything from assessment to marketing to sales help to training. It's pretty robust and has proven very successful. The last one I'll highlight here, we have developed out a security practice. So today, the #1 challenge for partners is security, cybersecurity. And what the team has developed out is this security practice builder. So in essence, we meet with the partner, we spend about an hour or two with them, we do an assessment, and then from that assessment, we hold workshops. And in those workshops, we identify the gaps through that assessment, and then we fill those gaps with either software or hardware. So at the end of it, the partner has dealt with experts and has the capabilities then to deliver cybersecurity solutions. And what's really important about this whole service portfolio is the sense that Ingram also realizes that a lot of our partners don't have capabilities to address every single aspect of the IT environment that their customers want, right? So we have something called IAM-Link. It's basically Ingram will pair a partner with another partner who can augment the gap in your capabilities. So I want to move on now to Ingram's cloud, right, and our cloud strategy. As I said, Ingram has been on this acquisition binge, if you will, for the last couple of years. And as you can see here, since 2009, the strategy has been to purchase best-in-class technologies and put them together in a solution that's very compelling for our partners. I think if you ask anybody about a strategy, there's 2 approaches basically. There's a build or there's a buy. Right? So I would argue that the best approach is a combination of those, and that's exactly what Ingram has done. So they've bought these leading technologies, but they've also invested in human capital. There are over 700 cloud engineers at Ingram. So just think about that, a distribution company with 700 cloud engineers. That's pretty unique. What's also unique is the fact that we own this IP. This is ours. So those cloud engineers, they wake up every day to go to work, and they try to figure out how better to enhance the capabilities of our partners. So what's interesting about these acquisitions, Odin and Ensign, are basically the foundations of our cloud platform. And these other acquisitions, Mamaso and Concerto, are basically development houses. So located in Europe, they develop APIs and streamline automation and management into the cloud platform. And the cloud platform was actually rebranded this year in the spring to be called Cloud Blue. And at launch, we launched with Microsoft. And in fact, Cloud Blue is hosted on Microsoft Azure. And Microsoft actually sell Cloud Blue, resell it as part of the CSP program. So I think that shows the confidence that a market leader like Microsoft has in Ingram as a cloud provider. Just to give you a sense of some of the adoption, right? We have 3 million seats managed worldwide on our Cloud Blue platform. We have 45,000 resellers. And the platform is available in 47 countries, 7 languages, and 14 currencies, which I think just goes to reinforce the fact that Ingram is truly a global company. So let me double click then on the Cloud Blue. What exactly is it? For us, it's the enterprise digital commerce engine. And the Cloud Blue product, it's more of a strategy, it's an approach. It's how Ingram delivers cloud practices to our partners. And it starts, as you can see at the bottom, it starts very fundamentally with an assessment. We need to understand what the partner wants to do, what their strategy is, what direction they want to go in. So it's a very open dialogue. And from that, we start to implement the solution. And the solution starts with a hyperscale platform. You can see it has multiple modules, if you will, the marketplace, the service catalog, subscription management, and so on. These are the fundamental building blocks to the platform. One of the key factors is automation. So once you pull in the software assets, you can actually manage and automate pretty much everything within the platform itself. So it's very powerful. But it's also designed to be very extensible, right? So we fully realize that our partners have, over the course of time, many of them built up their own capabilities and have their own core offerings. So they can actually integrate those into the platform. So the platform becomes the single pane of glass for everything they do with respect to cloud. And one of the key features of this is billing, right? So as your customers are consuming different services, they're getting very disparate bills through the subscription model. And that becomes an absolute nightmare to manage for partners, right? So here with Cloud Blue, you can consolidate the billing and then present a very single unified bill to the customer. Moreover, the extensibility of the platform straight out of the box comes with 200 leading ISV programs, right? So AWS, Azure, tools that your customers actually want to consume, like Office 365, Dropbox, and the like. What we do as part of this approach is deliver a anything as a service type model for the partner, right? So they can really build out their practice and deliver services just as their customers want to consume it. Last but not least, as part of this effort is the proven go-to-market. So as part of the engagement, and it typically takes a partner about 2 months from start to finish to get engaged and launch Cloud Blue. The team, you get a dedicated team within Ingram that will help you build out your practice, that will evaluate your business strategy for you, that in essence becomes an extension of your business for a period of that 2 months, right? So our goal is to train you, to educate you, and ensure that when it comes to launch, and there's also marketing support, you're good to go and ready to embrace the opportunity. So a very powerful platform that's fully API compliant. So in the event that you have your own core offerings or you want to pull in other products, you can do that very simply with Cloud Blue through the API. And I mentioned the 700 engineers. That's part of the engagement, right? They will help you onboard your own products through our APIs. So now, obviously, we're here to celebrate the union that is Ingram and CenturyLink, and we couldn't be more happy. And I want to take the opportunity, while I have the mic and the stage, is to introduce one of the strategic initiatives that we're moving forward, and this is going to be available in the fall. If you come to the Ingram One event, you'll definitely be exposed to this solution. It's basically our hosted private cloud delivered from CenturyLink on VMware Cloud Foundations. So what we've chosen to do is launch the hosted private cloud on HPE HCI, and then the software engine that sits on top of that is VMware Cloud Foundations, which will obviously deliver you NSX, vSphere, and vSAN. So compute, storage, and network virtualized in a very easy to consume manner. So the hosted private cloud will be available in 4 data centers to begin with in the US, hosted and managed by CenturyLink. And in addition to the hosted private cloud, we want to also expose some of the great services that CenturyLink offers to our customers, right? So for example, there's Cloud Connect. This is a dedicated pipe from the hosted private cloud to potentially the hyperscalers, right? So this way you truly get the best of both worlds in a truly hybrid environment. You get your single tenant managed hosted private cloud in CenturyLink data centers, and then if you need burst activities or DOR or any other use cases that you want to tap into the hyperscalers, you can use the CenturyLink services. I think one thing I thought about when I was making this slide is the synergies that CenturyLink and Ingram have, right? So as I described, Ingram has been on this acquisition binge for quite some time, and that's enabled us to deliver cloud platforms. CenturyLink too, I think, has transformed itself since 2009. You've made some strategic acquisitions of your own, with the promise of delivering technology to your customers and enabling them to have better lives through technology. So we're very happy with the partnership as it stands today, and this is just one of the things that we're working on with CenturyLink. And again, if you come to the Ingram One show in the fall, we'll be talking about this, and that's when it's going to be available. The last slide that I have today and I want to talk about is the Ingram Marketplace VMware on AWS. So obviously we're at VMworld, right? VMware clearly have made huge changes to the way we embrace and adopt technology. Pioneers obviously in virtualization. If you think about your clients today, customers today, they have obviously invested a lot of resources over the last years in IT on-premise, and they've pretty much standardized on VMware vSphere ESX. What this solution does, VMware on AWS, it basically gives you dedicated hardware on Amazon AWS, right? So bare metal running the cloud foundation. So you get the virtualization assets and exposure to everything that AWS offers. However, everything is managed seamlessly through vCenter. So for IT administrators, this is a perfect solution, simply because you don't have to learn new tools. You operate in the environment that you already know. You don't have to learn anything new, and yet you've basically exposed your environment to infinite resources on AWS. So AWS are really agile in the sense that they are constantly evolving the service catalog and what they offer you. And now you can take advantage through VMware on AWS to take advantage of that infinite ecosystem. And the beauty of this is this service is offered through our cloud marketplace, CloudBlue. So with that, I'll conclude, and I just wanted to say that we were again very happy to be able to present here today. We're very happy to have this partnership. We're looking forward to a big announcement at Ingram One in the fall. And for the partners out there, I hope I've changed your perception somewhat as to what Ingram does. It's certainly not your father's distribution company. And I would encourage you to reach out to your partner development managers and learn about all the great technologies and solutions and services that we offer. Thank you.